Alrighty, hello, we're back again. That was really fast. I probably should have just stayed on the live video from last time, but I didn't. I didn't want you guys just to be sitting here while I ran outside. But I said I promised I would come right back to talk about understanding pressure because someone had that question on the last live. So here we are. We're going to talk about pressure when it comes to your heat presses. All right, so give me 1 second. Oh, it doesn't actually show it to me. Okay. I was trying to see where that comment came from, but now I don't see it. So, well, I can't go back to the old comments because there were a couple of questions, but I can't see them now. So we're just going to go forward from here. Let's switch over to here. All right. So hello. I'm going to go try and find those questions that were asked and also just hit share on this again. So if you guys can once again bear with me, this is a live broadcast. So if you are watching the playback of this, I'm live. So I have to go ahead and share it out, wait for the audience to build before we get started. Want to get a few people on before we officially get started. So if you're watching the playback of it, once you see the banner go away, that's your indicator of maybe stop the fast forward because now we are live and into discussing today's topic. Okay, so let's go over here. I have to change my audience to public instead of just say he's just a friend, so that you guys can actually hit share. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit share myself. I'm going to go ahead and share this to a group. Let's share this over to my student union. Okay. All right, so I had to type out the title for my share. So just give me a moment. Let's just share this to a few more places. And then we're going to get started. All right, all shared out. I was actually just on a few seconds ago. All right, so all shared out, and then let me go over here, and I don't know if it'll let me do it again because I actually just did the @everyone. So hopefully it'll let me do it again. We'll see. Let's see. Let's go here, and who am I in the group as? Okay. So let's see. Oh, come on. I hit control. So @every. Let's see. if it will actually send it out. I know they say only once in 24 hours, so we'll see if the at everyone works. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, all shared out. Again, hello everyone. I am Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are a full service company that helps you not learn different creative things such as sublimation, print and cut, stickers, centerpieces, party favors, party decor, t-shirts, and all types of t-shirts. Like every way you can think of a t-shirt, I've done it. I've done videos on it. I train on it. But we also have an amazing product, which is our Honestly Speaking line of products. We have sublimation paper, sublimation ink. Our sublimation paper allows you to sublimate as low as 365 degrees, as fast as 30 seconds. Our ink is like no other. Our black is absolutely amazing. You can get true blacks even using plain paper setting. You don't have to use premium matte, which kind of wastes ink and things like that. And you don't need, and our bottles are 140 milliliters. So you get a lot of bang for your buck when you purchase Honestly Speaking products. And of course, it comes with all of this amazing education, such as our classes over at 365 Creative Academy, where we help you to unlock your creativity. So I just did a video where I was going over, mouse pads. So let me remove the banner. So you can go back and check that. It's on the Honestly Speaking YouTube channel. So we just did this mouse pad here. And someone had, a few people had some questions about like pressure, because I had to adjust the pressure on the heat press. So I said I would come right back and discuss pressure when it as it relates to different substrates. Okay. So if you're a newbie, you definitely need to know these things as far as adjusting your pressure, when you adjust it, and what does it mean to adjust your pressure, okay? So let's do this. Let's switch over to this microphone so you guys can hear me a little bit better. All right, so I'm going to grab a few things here just so that you guys have an idea of adjusting pressure, right? So there's all sorts of substrates that you can use for sublimation. As long as it contains polyester, satins are polyester, microfibers, things like that. There's certain fleeces that are polyester, or if it is coated in a polymer, so things like puzzles, MDF, like photo frames, metal frames, the bookmarks, the business cards, keychains, jewelry, like all those little metal discs, all of those different things. They just have to be coated in a polymer. So that's, the basics of this. But each one of these things have different thicknesses, right? So right now, my heat press is set for the mouse pad that we just did. Where did it go? So you can see here that this has some thickness to it. So if we were to put this on here and press it, it goes down, and I'm shooting for a 1 on this heat press, right? Now, if I were to put something like this sash, which is thin, on the heat press and close it, it's like at a 0, right? It's non-existent. Like, I probably could still press this at that 0, like with our paper and with this particular heat press, because it has good even pressure. I could press this at basically what this reads out as 0. Let's see, did it flat? If you can see, look, it actually even flattened out. So that lets you know I would have gotten great coverage on this, because it flattened it out. So I'll show you again. I'm going to go like this, and you see all of the creases in here. Let's do it like this. Okay. So I'm going to take this pressure. I'm going to decrease the pressure. So by raising it up, I am decreasing the pressure for this particular substrate. And I'm making it to where it's barely going to close down on it. So let me see. I can't, well, I was going to say I can't pull out the tray, but I can't really pull it out. It'll probably still flatten. Let's see. So it did still flatten out somewhat, right? I'm going to decrease it some more because what I'm actually trying to get it to do is make it to where I can still pull out the tray. Okay, it's still, okay, so you see, it still moves some. We don't want it to be able to be moved. So that's where firm pressure comes in at. So that was still at a 0. This still flattened out. So if I were to put a sublimation print on here, it'll most likely still sublimate, especially when it comes to our paper. Your heat press just needs to make even, whoa, dang it. It just needs to make even contact with your substrate. Okay, so let's say we do this shirt. All right. I could probably come down a little bit on this because it's saying it's at a 0. I'm going to turn it. And I'm trying to get to a 1 to make sure that this does not move. All right. So me doing a 1, and it's at a 1 on here. If I go back to that mouse pad, it takes more pressure to close it. And now that's at like a 2 or 3 because it is closer to this thicker material. Now, if I were to put something even thicker in my heat press, let me see, what do I have that is a bit thicker that can go in there that's in here right now? Okay. So I have a coaster. Now, let me see. Do I have a coaster that's open already? Oh, this is another good one. This can cooler, because it's thicker than the mouse pad. So the pressure on this is going to be different. I'm going to open up these infusible ink coasters. Although this one is not open at all. I think I have one that's already open. Oh, this is a good one that we can do. This is pretty flat. Now let's do a mask. Man, I can't believe I don't have any more coasters open. Oh, yeah, I do. Yay. Okay, here's a coaster. These are MDF coasters, though. All right. So let's do the coaster. I just want to protect it because there's nothing on it. And I think it's a plastic film. So now if I were to take that and close this, it's actually at a 1. I have not adjusted anything on here. So from the mouse pad to this coaster is actually only showing at a 1, which I thought it was actually a little bit thicker than the mouse pad, but I guess it's not. Oh, shoot. I knew I should have still taken it off. So let me remove this film. All right. So I could actually leave that there for this. So it's like a 1, or it's like fluctuating between 1 and 2. If I were to put this in the middle, see, this is a little bit harder to pull down, and it's at a straight up 2. because that is a different thickness. Now, if I were to put just this card, it's like nothing. I mean, but I still have firm pressure. This reads out as 0, but I still have pretty good pressure on it because I can't slide out my drawer. But because they are of different thicknesses, the pressure changes. Now, this heat press is a little bit different than your regular ones. Like, let's say, like my clamshell over here, and how you will kind of feel through the different thicknesses. Here is a wallet. Now, with this particular one, now I don't even know why this is made this way, because I've never even realized that about this one, because I've never actually sublimated this one. But it has all of this on the inside. So when you go to press it, you're going to have a lot. You can have a lot of imperfection as far as pressing something like this, because it has all of this on the inside. And even if you put a piece of foam in there, it still can be like uneven. Yeah, this is kind of weird, but I'm gonna still use that there. I'm gonna put this on top because now this is much thicker. You would have to press this as is because it's not made to where you flip it open and like just put the substrate part on the heat press. So now it is thicker. And if I try and close this, I cannot close it because it is too thick. I only need light pressure. So I'm going to loosen up the pressure by making my platen go up so that I can close it and adjust this to where I'm at a pressure of 1. And I don't think I'm actually going to get at a pressure of 1 with this particular heat press. So it's still like a 5 because it's so thick. This doesn't really have a lot of clearance. On my clamshell, it would be different in how I adjust it. This really doesn't have a lot of clearance. Like, I mean, where this is for how far up and down this goes, it's like right there. So I'll probably never be able to get that at a straight up 1. All right. Oh yeah, and it burnt. So that's so weird. Like, I guess you would have to, if you press this, because it melted the black part here, I guess you would have to literally try and get this right to the edge like this. Oh, that's so weird. Like, you would have to eyeball this to get it right to the edge. This is something where I probably would not try to do a full bleed because you will probably end up with ghosting up here, trying to get it like right at the edge of your heat press. And if like one part is up and one part is down, you might end up with ghosting on something like this because this part started to melt. So it doesn't look like you don't see the lines in it right where the heat press touched it. It's melted down. So it's nice and smooth now. So this is something I probably would just put something in the middle, not try and do a full coverage because this top edge All right, there we go. So because the other one was so thick, now that I'm pressing this one, it's like loose. Where's the... See, I can technically slide this out because it's loose because what was there was thicker. So now I need to take my knob and turn it so that my platen goes down so that it makes better contact with the hoodie. And so that was a little bit too much for my liking. I don't like a 2. And you may not have a readout on yours that's going to tell you what the pressure is. You're just feeling for, like, you don't want it to be where it's a lot of effort to put it down. When you have too much pressure, especially if it's you have the edges of your paper on your shirts and things like that, you're going to really get a deep line of demarcation. It's going to be hard to get out. So I'm going to turn this back a little bit more. So that's a 1 on there. Now, if I were to go and put this hoodie or this jacket on there, and I'm just going to do the sleeve part because this one I would unzip it. So let's just do, like, let's say we were doing the sleeve. So this is about a 1, but it's almost at a 2. Like, taking it down, it was, I think if I probably turn it just a little bit more, it'll probably be at a 2 because it's a little bit more resistance. For me, this is a bit thicker. I can feel it. I'm going to turn this back some more. I want to kind of be at a 0, and then maybe I look a quarter of a turn to get it to like right at a 1, and that will be good for this. But again, you have to adjust it. So if I go now and put this foam, it's thicker. Well, it's also, it dropped. It's a little bit, it's not as dense. So that one did kind of go to like, it's at 0 even with the foam. Let's put a shirt. What did I do with the shirt? Now that I've made all of those adjustments, I'm going to take a shirt and put it on there. See, like no pressure, like it's at a 0 that's red. So there's no pressure on this at all. This would most likely have some ghosting because it's not even pressure on there because it's at like a 0 that's red. So that's telling me that there's really no pressure. So the one before it was thicker. So now this, I'm going to turn my knob to drop this where it becomes closer to the substrate, in this case the shirt. And I'm see now I'm at, okay, I'm still at the 0 that's red, so it's still not enough pressure. We're going to turn it. So now I'm at a 1. That right there is good. So each substrate is different. It's not that you need heavy pressure on anything really. You just have to adjust it if you had something thicker than, versus something thinner on your heat press, okay? All right, let's see what questions do you guys have. All right, you guys should be able to hear me now, right? Let's see. You should be able to hear me now. I know it had went out when I went to the other room. Okay, how would you do uneven substrates like a backpack or a book bag? That's when you would use things like your pressing pillow. To try and help even out the pressure. It really does depend on how it's made. If you are able to put some sort of pressing pillow, whether it's just a green foam or if it's the pressing pillow like your traditional ones, like this. See, this style wallet, you can just put it over the edge. And because it has this button here, that would cause uneven pressure right there. So to absorb that pressure, you would put a piece of foam, whether it's this one or this. I like this kind better, so that that sinks into the foam and it keeps even pressure across the substrate. One of the joys of having a Hotronix is it has interchangeable platens. Everyone thinks that bigger platens are better, right? They think I want to have a 16 by 20. I can do bigger items. But if you're doing something like a backpack that has a smaller opening, having those smaller platens actually comes in handy, because then you can actually fit the backpack around the actual platen. So the joy with the Hotronix is they have, it's like a round one, 11-inch one, 15-inch one. There's like ones for like chest designs, kitty designs. And if you get those different platens, you don't have to worry about the bulk, because you'll be able to fit your substrate right around the edges of it. Let's see. Any other questions? All right. So I don't see any other questions. But in a nutshell, that's what it is when people are saying like adjust your pressure and stuff like that. For me, I don't do anything heavy pressure. Some things just come off as like heavy pressure, because depending on the clearance of your heat press, you can only do heavy pressure because you don't have enough clearance. So if I'm doing awards, I end up doing heavy pressure on the Hotronix. I can actually barely even close it. I don't like doing plaques on here because it's not enough clearance. Even with raising it all the way up, it's just not enough clearance in how it comes down. So whenever I'm doing awards, I use my clamshell because I have a much higher clearance on my clamshell heat press. So like there are different heat presses for different jobs. In the Sublimation Seminar, I show 3 different heat presses: a clamshell, a 12 by 9 swing away, and then of course like the Hotronix one. And this time around I didn't have my 15 by 15. Oh, my sister's 15 by 15, but the one I did before I had the 15 by 15. And I show the differences in adjusting the pressure when you float something and then you drop it down on there to get the perfect pressure. So I show all of those things in my Sublimation Seminar, which is still available on the website. So for slates, same thing. Do I have one here? I think I do. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, if it's not that, I saw crush and Sprite. What kind of crush? Oh, orange. Busy Pepsi gone out in Apple. Yeah. Come on. All right, so I have to go find the slate. So So like with this right now is set for a shirt. So this, see, I can barely close it. Okay, there it is. So I can barely close the slate with that slate in there. Because I had a shirt. So now I have to adjust this. And you should always, of course, adjust it without your print on it. So I can do this one, and I'm at like a 0 now, but I would go ahead and take this up. And that one, I would be closer to a 2. That's just like, you know, for me, I just kind of like to have that one closer to a 2. So I'll kind of let it go to see if it fluctuates to a 2. Like getting it like right at the edge of 1. So as you can see, a pressure of 1 has a wide range. Like I've turned the knob a couple of times and mine is still saying 1. So there's a big range of like pressure for it. So now I'm at 2. So I can either turn it back to be like right at the edge of 1, right before 2. But that's how you would adjust for that. And again, I don't use heavy pressure. Everything that I do for the most part for sublimation, my heat press is at a 1 or 2. Now, if I'm doing vinyl, it goes up to a 4 or a 5, or if I'm doing DTF, because you want to have that pressure to push that adhesive in. But for sublimation, it's not required to be that heavy. I grabbed this plastic PVC door hanger. All right. So now when I close this, I'm back at a 0 because it's not enough pressure. So I can actually close because it's so loose. I can turn this to get it down closer to it to where I know now. Yes, my love. Okay, sorry, my kid. He's looking for his brother. So I can adjust this. Now I'm at like kind of still at a 0. I'm gonna turn it a little bit more and we're at a 1. All right. What I'll do is I'll print out a random print to cover that up with. So give me 1 second. I'm just gonna pick like a random. What size is this though? Just so you can see like me adjusting the pressure and seeing that you don't have to have heavy pressure even for a hard substrate. So this is about 9 by 4. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm at 9 by 4. All right, I'll just share it with you guys, my screen real quick. Okay, so we're going to go 4 by 9. And then I'm just going to put a bleed on it so I can go all the way to the edge. Okay. Can I fit 2 on here for the back side of it? I probably can't. It's going to be like right at the edge of it. That's okay. All right. So I'm going to take this one and let's just put a glitter. And then this one, let's do a chalkboard. Ooh, excuse me. I'm just going to do a chalkboard on that side. All right. And then let's go file. Wait, what size paper is this? Cancel. 8.5 by 11. File. Print. I think I'm all set up. I'm just going to change this to 8.5 by 11 because I just did a print. So everything else is already set. Let me make sure. Yep, everything is already set. So now I'm just going to hit, oh wait, main. I need to go from cassette 2 and print. So I'll just show with pressing that to a substrate. So that's going to, while that's printing out, if you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to go ahead and ask. And post your questions while I'm waiting for that to print out so I can demonstrate me pressing that one. And while we also are doing that, I will remind you guys that we do have the Overstock Sale still going on for 8.5 by 14 and 11 by 17 fast dry paper. If you have a small format printer, such as like the EcoTank 2400, 2700 series, 2800, 37, 4700, any of those, if you have the F170, they actually print longer than 8.5 by 11. A lot of people think that they are limited to 8.5 by 11 paper when it comes to, oh, I just realized you guys never saw my screen when I was putting that on. My bad. You guys never saw my screen because I just sent it up. So I'll go back over and show you guys what I did just to print this out. But you can actually print longer than 11 inches. You can't print any wider than 8.5, but you can use 8.5 by 14 inch paper for, you know, if you're piecing together, having the longer paper just makes it a little bit easier. If you only need to use 8.5 by 11, it's always great to have, you know, scrap pieces that you can also put back in the printer and print to that. And you really can print 8.5 by 47 inches long. We don't have any rolls in stock right now, but they'll be back. Hopefully they'll be here soon. But the 8.5 by 14 and 11 by 17 is an Overstock sale for a limited time. It's 25% off of those sizes. So you can get your 11 by 17 for about 17 bucks. Yes, it will work with the F570. I have quite a few people who live by it and they're waiting for it to come back in stock because they're out. So yes, you definitely can. That's actually what we got it for, was for that printer specifically. Because we changed it to 100 foot rolls. Before it was 328 feet, just like the other ones, because you have to cut it down. But for that one, we end up changing it to where they're sold in 2 sets of 100 foot rolls. So again, the site is shop.hsink365.com. Waiting for my order. It was shipped yesterday. Yay! Awesome. Oh, so let me go back over here to Silhouette Studio because you guys didn't get to see it. So I just made a box, went up here, and I made it 4 inches by 9 inches. And then I did a bleed on it so that it would go all the way to the edge. I don't do a very large bleed, just so it goes all to the edge. Now, if I was actually designing this, I do have a template for that. But for this, I'm just going to flood the whole thing with color, so I don't really need a template. But if I was putting like pictures or putting words on here, I definitely would be using my template because of how it curves. And I would want to make sure that my words and things aren't going to get cut off or pictures are where they need to be at. But for this purpose, all I did was measure it. Okay. All right. So here is another example of how the colors print out versus how they press, okay? So you can see here, the way this is here, it's going to come out more of a teal color. But when it prints out, it looks like a blue. Now, I use a workforce printer. I am able to get those teal tones from an EcoTank printer. Your blue may still end up looking blue for certain files, okay? But for this one, like I said, I use a workforce printer. and it's going to come out more of a teal tone. Because I put them so close together, this edge is now exposed. This is something that you never want to do, guys. You never, hold on. I'm going to put my camera over so you can hear me better. Especially on a thicker substrate like this, because it's not making full contact, as that heat hits it and it gases out, this is right at the edge. This will gas out and can end up on your heat press and then transfer to another project, and like, you know, where it's not covered up. We don't want to do this, all right, when we are pressing on an open press. Now, if you're doing tumblers, of course, you want to have that straight edge, but you should always have some sort of edging around your print so that it gives that gas space to move and not come out the other side. So what I'm going to do is just use, I'll just cover that up. Do I want to use tape? Nah, I don't want to use tape. I'm going to use a little bit of tape, but what I'm going to do is just kind of cover. Oh, come on. All right, let me tape this down so that it doesn't move. All right, let me grab some tape here just so that this does not move. All right. So like I said, I don't want this. You can either put a full piece of butcher paper on it, or you can cover it. And I'm just going to put one little piece of heat tape there. Like I said, it's just so that where that ink is, it doesn't blow out and get on my heat press. Okay, I think that moved, but it's okay. All right, so we're going to go like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and press that. That's at a 1. Although for that, I was actually shooting for closer to the 2. I probably should have taken it up just a little bit. When I do the other side, I'll move it closer to a 2. We'll see how this one comes out, because the way it went down, I don't think that it'll be even pressure. Oh my gosh, my kids. I don't think it'll be even pressure because it went down a little too easy. So we'll see. I'm probably going to leave it for a few more seconds just because I don't think it got even pressure. So if you suspect that you don't have even pressure, you can leave your heat press down for a little bit longer to just help that heat just kind of get into all the nooks and crannies and things like that. So I'm going to leave it for a few seconds, and then let's see how this side came out, and then also let me adjust this pressure just a little bit because it slammed down a little bit too loose for my liking. Oh no, we still did really good. All right, so there's that. And then this is how it subbed. So you can see that it wasn't that blue color. We now have green tones to this. And then what I want to show you here, it's very, very light, but there is blue. You can see that line right there. That's where that gas came out of the side. So imagine if I did not cover that up, that would end up being on the heat press, and as small as it is, with sublimation, whenever heat touches it again, it will transfer to that substrate. So that's why we protect it. I'm going to fold this in half. I'm going to flip this over. I don't know how the design got on the back of this. And we're going to put this one on there. Oh, come on. I'm just going to use my parchment paper and just cover that raw edge. And now this one, we're going to press. Oh, I don't know how I'm still at a 1. I thought I moved to like a 2. Change my black chip. I'm going to say 20, no problems. Made a pair of simple Sublimation 49er socks. Cheap socks, color looks great. Awesome. So that came out great. So here's another thing too, right? I'm actually glad that it's somewhat messed up, right? So I'm not sure if you can see right there, there is this line that's going across here. Just that little bit of extra paper, one, it creates a heat barrier. So the heat was not touching the back of the paper evenly. So we end up with this line. And the ink did not come off as much. So if you are using our paper and you are still hesitant and you want to put a cover sheet on top, give it a few extra seconds because there's going to be a heat barrier. And it's going to take it longer to release all of the gas. So you see the difference in the color here where there was no cover sheet. And this is what happens when you put a cover sheet on top. So I'm actually glad that happened because you can click. So you guys can see the difference, right? Put a 3 in the comments if you can see the difference between this side and this side. And then on the substrate, you can also see it where it put that little line there because there was a heat barrier with that parchment paper. Okay. So if you're going to use it, now you see that affects how it transfers. So if you've been using, you're like, man, my colors aren't popping, I'm using it 30 seconds, it's probably because you were using butcher paper or parchment paper on top and trying to do it for those 30 seconds. If you're going to put that on top, like you're like, I'm not taking any chances. I know what Shakia said. I know what the professor said, but I'm not taking any chances. And you put the butcher paper on top, leave it for a few more seconds so that all of that, all the ink can gas off, because with that protection is going to be a heat barrier, okay? So that's what happens. Our paper does not need the butcher paper on top. It's not going to bleed through. And this is why we can press at such lower temps and faster times. So most people will probably tell you to put heavy pressure on something like that. Heavy pressure. Would the sublimation class be for a beginner? Just come. Yes. So my 6-day sublimation seminar goes over everything that you can think of. Like, it breaks down the science of it. We go through colors, we go through heat presses, everything that you can think of. Pressing to color substrates, understanding your colors, understanding the differences in the programs and what one program can offer you that another one doesn't. So yes, the sublimation seminar is great for a true beginner because it breaks down everything. So if you go over here to class playbacks and we go to right here, 6-day sublimation seminar, day 1, how to get started, understanding your heat presses and heat sources, common mistakes and errors, design software breakdown, understanding substrates. And then this day, I just submit a bunch of different things for you guys to get an understanding of how you adjust your pressure, your time, understanding how certain things will come out. So you get a lot in this 6-day seminar. This is a playback. The next time that I do this, where it will be live, it will not be this cost. It's, pretty much somewhat of the same information. It'll probably be a little bit different because, different questions and, of course, different examples. But the next time I do the seminar live, it won't be that price because, hey, everything has gone up. So you can get the 6-day seminar right now for $73.65. All right. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. I just had to come in to do this mouse pad. Someone needs it for tomorrow. I had a post that I was supposed to do, but I didn't get a chance to design that because I had a horrible headache yesterday. So was not able to really do that. I'm going to try and do it and then just send it to print because I don't think they need it until like the afternoon. So yeah, I'm going to get off of here so I can go and design that poster, and I shall talk to you guys on Wednesday. Although actually, no, I will be live Monday or Tuesday because I'm dropping the we're opening up the enrollment for the upcoming classes. So I'll be on to talk about that. But as far as the next Q&A, that will be on Wednesday. Although you guys might catch me over on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, you can hear the Professor 365. I'm building my audience over there, so I tend to go live sporadically over on TikTok. So join me over there. Okay. Okay. Some of the Facebook printer groups say that Silhouette Studio isn't color aware. True or not? They use Photoshop. I use Silhouette Studio. So there are, it can be slight differences. And the reason why they'll say that, as far as using Silhouette Studio, if you're using the color charts that are here, no, the colors come out so crazy. Even if you click on a color and then you go down here, the colors come out so crazy compared to Photoshop. So if we were to come here and we click on like the colors, come on now. There we go. The way that you would select colors and the range of colors is a bit more accurate than Silhouette Studio when you are choosing colors. But the solution to that is to use a color chart. But if I were to print something directly from Photoshop compared to directly from Silhouette Studio, it's not that big of a difference because I'm still using the Epson IJ07 color profile. When it comes to Photoshop, you can select a color profile. So if someone is using an ICC profile, you're able to select that when you go to print. Hold on. Where'd it go? All right. So where we have here, see, no matter what, I'm still using the Epson IJ07 profile. If you don't use and you go Photoshop manages the colors, they'll have different profiles and things that they will use, and you can select that from here to make it match somewhat. Some people say they have it where they've made it where it matches. That's all relative to the monitor that you have. It's still not going to be completely like the same colors. I posted a picture where I showed the difference between my laptop and the monitors for my desktop. And my laptop had more color to it than the monitors. So the colors look way different from one to the other. Unless you yourself are going to calibrate your monitor to your specific printer and the ink that you use and the paper that you use, you are going to always have some color variation. If you are using an Epson EcoTank printer, because it uses a different type of ink, I don't care which program you print from, you are still going to have color variations. I print from Silhouette Studio all the time, and I don't have any issues when it comes to colors. Like nothing that's major. No, I mean, you might see like slight differences. And I mean, even when you bring in images from into Photoshop compared to Silhouette Studio, the way the programs are set up, you see a slight difference, but nothing major. Your graphics card, but not as much. the way your monitor output is going to be the determining factor more so than the graphics card. Your graphics card just is really telling it how it's going to process all of that information, which is why with Silhouette Studio, you know, we say we want to have a gaming computer or just designing in general. It's better to have like, or look for like a gaming computer because it's meant to handle a lot of graphics and it won't bog it down and cause it to be slow. But it doesn't necessarily affect the colors like that. All right. But like I said, I break a lot of that down in the 6-day Sublimation Seminar. And as you can see, we have a lot of different classes. So understanding your text effects, if you want to do party favors in the core. If you guys saw the posters that I did on my page, those were designed in Silhouette Studio. They were sent to my Roland and the colors are beautiful. They are perfect. So it's not, and then if you look at the tumbler that was pressed as well as the poster, those colors match. So it's not, I mean, I do everything from Silhouette Studio. All right, but let me get out of here. I'm going to try and do some of this design so I don't have to do too much of it tomorrow, or I'm actually trying to finish it so that I can then print it out. Actually, I'll probably just go home and design it and then just come back and print it first thing in the morning. Because yeah, I'm a little tired. I want to go home. I'm going to take my laptop home and design from home. So I thank you guys so very much. Like I said, you may hear my voice or see my face on Monday or Tuesday. Probably Tuesday, because I think my kid is they have teacher planning day on Monday. To announce the new classes, and you'll have open enrollment for them, the creative business program, and they're all starting in February, the creative business program, and then Silhouette Cameo first cuts. So we'll have for vinyl, adhesive vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, print and cuts, and then first cuts when it comes to paper, because these are all different in how you adjust your settings, how you adjust your speed, the intricacies of the design. So we're going to do very simple, basic things. We're not doing layering yet. Layering is in the second part of it, which will come in March. But there's a lot of classes that are coming up. So be on the lookout for that announcement, most likely on Tuesday. I'm about to switch out my ink. Was there anything I should do to flush it out? No. So just switch it out and just you either print a purge file or just push, like when you put the new inks in there, just use your syringe and do the whole push air to push out anything that might be in there. But you really don't have to, especially as long as you're not like, it's not a big deal with switching the different inks. It's like, it might be a slight color difference. I always just recommend that you don't do it in the middle of a print job, but there's really nothing that you have to do special at all. Hopefully you're switching to Honestly Speaking Sublimation ink. All right, y'all, but let me get out of here. Until next time, guys, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.